Disney theme parks decided that they are no longer using such vulgar language as boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen when it comes to making PA announcements. Here's what Disney's Vivian Ware had to say in a recent conference call that was thankfully recorded. Quote, "We provided training for all of our cast members in relationship to that. So now they know it's hello, everyone, or hello, friends," end quote. By the way, Vivian Ware is Disney's diversity and inclusion manager. What does a diversity and inclusion manager do at Disney World? Remember when going to a theme park was all about having a fun time, going on thrill rides and eating corn dogs and cotton candy and trying to win a stuffed animal? Now we must worry about diversity and inclusion and, of course, avoid using, quote, gender greetings, end quote. Say, did even a single park goer at Disney complain about gendered greetings? I doubt it. And so it is that friends is the politically correct Disneyfied descriptor for all people visiting Disney parks, regardless of genitalia. Friends. It reminds me of a certain scene from a classic monster horror chiller theater movie.
Before you came, I was all alone. It is bad to be alone.
Alone. Bad. Friend. Good. Friend. Good.
Say, friends, we all know what's behind this insanity, don't we? It is society en masse caving to the radical transgender movement. From the political elites to big business, nobody wants to come across as non-inclusive these days, given the ongoing pandemic of wokeness. So it is that pregnant women are now referred to as pregnant people. So it is that breastfeeding is now chest feeding. God forbid that we offend those with a Y chromosome, even though men cannot give birth and men cannot breastfeed. Oh, but let's not allow Biology 101 to get in the way, shall we?
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Wow, I think we have our titular character if Universal Studios ever goes ahead to making Frankenstein Monster the next generation. But of course, when bending the knee to the nut bars who comprise the radical transgender community, it isn't about just replacing words. It's about harming real women, be it in the world of sports or in the penal system. Recently, Leah Thomas became the first fake woman to win an NCAA Division I national championship when he finished first in the 500-yard freestyle race. The NCAA allowing this to happen is a disgrace, of course. And what about the leftist mainstream media that always admonishes us to follow the science when it comes to everything from climate change to the COVID-19 pandemic? Well, suddenly, like so many ostriches burying their heads in the sand, they dare not mention the elephant in the room that male to female athletes have an inherent physical advantage over biological women, given everything from muscle mass to cardiovascular capacity. That's why, with the exception of auto racing and equestrian, males and females have always competed in separate categories. It's called a level playing field. But that was then, and this is now. In fact, instead of exposing Leah Thomas for the grifter that he is, namely a dude who was a mediocre swimmer at best in the men's division, the media and academia are protecting and promoting him. As I mentioned earlier this week in a rant I recorded, look at how NBC News digitally photoshopped Leah Thomas to look more feminine. That's because the whole narrative of trans women are real women kind of goes off the rails, wouldn't you say, when the she-male is sporting 5 o'clock shadow. So it is that NBC News morphed into NBC Fiction and feminized Leah. Then again, this is the same news network responsible for rigging a test to falsely show that GM pickup trucks of yesterdecade were the equivalent of next-generation Ford Pintos. Remember this infamous report from 1992? Check it out.
To see for ourselves what might happen in a side impact crash, Dateline NBC hired the Institute for Safety Analysis to conduct crash demonstrations. Unlike GM tests, the fuel tanks were filled with real gasoline. Look what happened. At impact, a small hole was punctured in the tank. According to our experts, the pressure of the collision and the crushing of the gas tank forced gasoline to spew from the gas cap. The fuel then erupted into flames when ignited by the impacting car's headlight.
Wow, that was quite dramatic, quite frightening, wasn't it? Actually, no. You see, try as they might, NBC News could not get those GM pickup trucks to blow up when enduring a side impact. So NBC decided to tinker with the experiment to get those much sought after kaboom visuals, which is to say they secretly affixed incendiary devices on those gas tanks. I swear to God, folks, those journalists had their henchmen put little tiny bombs on those gas tanks to make those trucks blow up real good. Indeed, I would say that this kind of smear tactic that NBC used to demonize GM some 30 years ago might indeed be the great granddaddy of what we now refer to as fake news in the here and now.
That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.